Good morning. We'd like to call the Executive Committee meeting to order for Tuesday, March 26th. If we could get a roll call, please.
Mr. Hess? Ms. Polk?
Present.
Ms. Weber? Ms. Parker? Mr. Seroy? Mr. Carrico? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Long? Mr. Eckhoff? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler?
Present.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right. See no public comment today. Mr. Beavis? No? All right. You watch it back there. You clear the room. Nothing under legislative. Actually, approval of minutes, February 27th, 24. Mr. Hunter, Mr. Long. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under information services, Mr. Duval, I believe his hype man is going to join him. Jason. No, it's in the hallway.
Okay, I'll give you a brief update on the phone system. Jason is going to give the report that he normally gives in criminal justice. They didn't have time in that, so we're going to allow him some space to do that now. He's going to come up in a minute. He said he'd rather have a little space, so I'll go down. So,
all the restraining order still. All right.
Okay. Steve and I met with Reuter yesterday, and we got some of the legwork out of the way. There's going to be documents going to Andy to sign. They've completed the animal control install. They're just going to wait for the numbers to be ported over from AT&T. That's in their existing place. When they move, they said they can just move it over and it should just run, so they're not worried about it. They're confident that everything went well. What we planned on, what we worked out yesterday is they also update us on where school's sitting. They're working out. They've got a good plan for that. We signed off on that. We signed off on the highways portion. That's, I don't want to say insignificant, but that's so small that's not going to be an issue. And then we talked about the campus, which was the RFP. We're probably going to end up going in at their request, and it made sense that they'd rather start with the courthouse first. And we had thought originally go with the annex, but they'd like to go with the courthouse because of the movement with the circuit clerk. What they'd like to do is put the phone system in where they are now. So by the time they move them out, they won't have to. If we did it after, they'd have to go redo the old system and then do the phone system. If we do it while they're in place, they can just install the new system, and then when they go, everything just moves with them. It's like, as long as you don't disrupt the cords, we don't really care at that point. But so if they're saying that makes it easier and less labor work, we're okay with that. What we did say is make sure you talk with the specific departments involved and make sure they're okay with that too. Doesn't require any extra work on us. Then they would move to the annex and then come to the to the admin building. What I stress is to make sure in this building that they're completed long before the election process. We want to make sure we don't disrupt any of the numbers that are involved with elections or any tax numbers, anything. They said that won't be a problem whatsoever. So basically, we've got an update on that. Everything's going well with that. They've been progressing. They've been working on projects, and what we did was we met to make sure we solidified what we're going to do with the big RFP.
I had one question, and I apologize if you said it at the beginning when I was reading something. Animal control, because their phones were down, they were on a legacy hardwired system. Are they in their current location up to running on something
they're up
that
running
is adaptable, and then we'll have the new system installed?
The new system is installed but not running only because they have to wait for the numbers to be, it's running but ported over from AT&T to the new system. So both systems are there, and that's what will happen in every place. Both systems will work. You get the second one, the new one installed, and then when AT&T moves all the numbers over for that building, they move them over and you just start working that. So both of them are working there. the way I understand that, right now they're still on their original system, but it's working. But as soon as they've already put in the order for them to move them over, it will just transfer over. And what you actually have is 2 phones at your desk. So one day this one's working, the next day that's working, and they come back and pull the old system out. And then when they go, they just take the new system that puts on the network, they plug in. There's nothing extra you have to do.
Okay. Any questions about that, the phone project and all that? Seems like it's moving along fine. Phase 2 is approaching.
Yes.
All right.
I'll let him come up.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. And Jason is here as the project manager to update you on the Tyler project over at the courthouse, the courts management system. Major expenditure and upgrade for the county, geared towards driving efficiency, so no pressure.
Right. As in your guys' packet, you guys have last month's report for the Tyler project. It is moving along. Right now we're in a really busy stage where we're doing data review too, where everyone's basically trying to break the system so we can correct the system. Now is the time to hash out any problems that we have or foresee, so we have plenty of time to have them fixed before then. They do encourage it. That's rather interesting. For clarification, since I did go through a name change during this, it used to be called Odyssey. They still reference that name, but in your report with Enterprise Justice, that encapsulates attorney manager for state's attorney and public defender, along with the case management system for the circuit clerk and the judges. The enterprise supervisor, that's the probation software. So just for a little bit of clarification on that. As I said, we're in data review 2 right now. We're about halfway through. I don't want to get too far into the details of it. I just want to make sure that I made myself available, and Andy wanted me to be available if you guys had any questions on the reports.
So, from your assessment, are we on track, ahead of schedule, and kind of separating the probation, the supervision from the justice side of things? I guess, you know, what's your take as far as the managing of the project, resources you have devoted towards you, timelines, all that, you know?
Got it. On the last page of the report, I asked them to simplify all the timelines into something that's a little bit easier to read, and they were able to do it. They're going to expand it out a little bit farther. So far, the timelines are going forward smoothly. We are starting to look at a couple things that, if you notice, in the next month in April, we have like 4 different workshops that's all going at the same time. So, you know, there's a lot of focus on that at the moment, but so far everything's sounding good. The teams, Sandy's team of people, state's attorney started 2 weeks ago on their stuff. Their team of people is really into it. And public defender started as of yesterday on those things. And so far, everyone's extremely eager, and I don't want to say happy because it's a lot of work, but they're happy to see the new product. They're happy to see what it can do for them and how it's going to make things easier for them. It is a lot of work, and it is a lot of time on what they call them, the SMEs, their timelines. But I really don't have nothing bad to say at the moment. I mean, there is problems that come up. We face the problems and then we move on. But nothing glaring at the moment.
I guess questions for Jason about this, Mr. Featherling?
Jason, are you happy with the progress, the way it's progressing, and how's your timeline in your head going as far as when you thought you'd be started and when you'd be done?
Oh,
when you'd be done, I mean.
Right now, the more detailed schedule, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on it. The more detailed schedule is ever living. Things change, things get moved around. It is still progressing, which I'm definitely happy about on that. So far, we're still looking at September for the go live. After this next phase is when we get to really kind of cement it in on this is our guaranteed time. So this next month, I'd say, is really the critical part, because this next month is where we really test everything and all the work that all the people have done up to this point for configuration, working with the vendor to get code mapping done. I mean, there's been a lot of work on the team of people to get to this point.
Okay, thank you.
Is supervision and justice going live at the same time?
That is the goal. Right now, in the report, it does say to be determined, because as in the notes, there was a delay on getting the information from Tracker. We do have a full, complete set of data from Tracker. Now we're going through data review. The goal is to go live at the same time, and hopefully with the next report, I'll have more estimated dates on the project timelines for that side of it.
Thank you. Just for this committee's, knowledge going forward, we're never going to be able to keep up with the reduction of money coming from Springfield to operate our courts. Okay, there's less and less support coming to run that system. And so we have to be able to keep up with our caseload through efficiency. This is part of that. You can't have the same piece of paper being touched by 7 different people. You can't, I mean, that's a simple analogy, but there were pieces of paper, if you will, figuratively everywhere to be touched and passed around and filed and moved from this desk to that desk. And it was just antiquated work processes that were totally the result of a system that could not keep up with. I'm talking about a computer management system that could not keep up with today's criminal justice system and the requirements placed on it. So of all of the things that we have done, and this is a large expenditure that I hope pays dividends for years to come, because there's no reversal of that draining of funds. That's about the only way that I can put it, from Springfield away from counties just like us that supported the criminal justice system. We can't collect a fee on a fine because we're no longer able to keep somebody's driver's license. So we just give the driver's license back, and boy, they come back and give us the money, and that's sarcasm, by the way. That's heavy sarcasm, because it just doesn't happen. We can't collect anything. So there's more of that coming. I just can't even imagine what it is. So I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I see. I don't see a way to run the courthouse unless you drive efficiency. You can't pay for all the people there. This project is hugely important to the county. So,
and as of one example, for Andy was speaking towards, that I did speak at criminal justice is like warrants. Right now, Sandy and Trent told me that 7 warrants go through 7 different people's hands from department. The Alliance group of the Tyler, they're going to streamline that. So not so many people have to touch it. It's going to go faster, and obviously it will be way more efficient. And that's just one of the things that this software is going to drive on the efficiency, to Andy's point.
Not only issuing the warrants, but also quashing them. Because if you that's a problem.
It's a scary part.
That's a problem. If the warrant's quashed and somebody gets picked up and it hasn't gone through the system yet, and they're missing work, yeah, that's an issue. So, if there's any questions, obviously reach out in the meantime, but it seems like things are going smooth. I just thought every month or two, I would say plan on monthly, even if it's, because we're getting up to that September time period. So if we need to allocate more resources towards anything, we need to know it.
Yes, I got it.
Because even if we could find somebody to help you. So thanks. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Health Department, Mr. Beavis. There's an administrator's report, a motion to put on file. Mr. Seroy, Mr. Carrico, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Good morning, everybody. I won't insult your intelligence. You have my report, and I also, I think, provided some information in regards to measles in regards to what we're seeing in the state, in the area. To date, we have no cases in Kankakee County, so I can happily report that, and then I can answer any questions. But obviously, the report talks about a lot of our social media advertising that we put out there, the recent meetings and events and trainings that our staff have been involved with since the last month since I've been here. The radio show, obviously, I've talked about that quite a bit. Again, just a reminder that the episodes are now on the website at the health department, so you can go onto the website, click the About tab, scroll down to the bottom where it says Who Knew, and when you click on that link, then you'll get to the episodes, and you can click on them and listen to those. We've had a number of different episodes the last 2 weeks, and I think possibly at least for 1 or 2 more. Lauren is going quite extensively through the opioid program, the opioid grant that we do, and just last week had Deidre Kennedy and some other representatives from Duane Dean collaboration with the health department there to it's a great discussion in regards to just what's going on with the community and how they help and how we can help with what we do. And then at the end, I talk about a little bit about the Partnership for the Healthy Community, which is a collaboration of the health department and the 2 hospitals and approximately 50 other agencies that help determine the Community Health Improvement Plan, which is done every 3 years by the health department and the hospitals. That cycle is wrapping up its final stages before we determine those next 3 health issues that the agency, the partnership, will work on the next 3 years. That meeting was last week at St. Mary's, was very well attended. A lot of great information and data was shared. So with that, I'll answer anybody's questions.
Questions? Mr. Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I read through the report on the IRIS, and I have had some questions from the public about IRIS. Could you give us a bullet point kind of thing about IRIS so that maybe the other members and I can speak in public better about that?
Sure. Let me see. So IRIS is Integrated Referral Intake System, and that is a web-based program that the health department and in collaboration with the county board, ARPA funds, going back approximately a year ago from the start of the conversations to the agreement that the health department could and would love to attempt to take this project on. We started to receive the training from the Kansas team and hired an individual who then will facilitate the program and connecting service agencies to get on board with that program. So ultimately, the employee will go out or work with agencies that are interested in becoming part of the IRIS system. So it's sort of a web-based system that an agency would agree to be a part of. And it basically makes a connection between a referral individual or agency and a receiving individual or agency. And what that does then in Cliff Notes version is an individual who goes to an agency seeking services that maybe through that discussion is indicating maybe they have other needs that might not be met by the agency that they're at, would then be asked to allow for their information to be shared. And I would make a referral then, if you're here for immunizations at the health department, for example, but I know you've got some substance abuse issues that you're talking about, or possibly you've lost your rent, you don't have a place to stay, or you're having struggles with food, we can refer you to an agency that maybe has a food bank, or we can refer you to a Duane Dean or one of the hospitals in regards to that type of a program for you, because we don't have it. And what it does then is it sends that email to them saying that you're interested in these services. We hand your information off to them. We get a bounce back message that we have made that referral, that they have received that referral, and then when they have handled your situation, there is another message, and then the computer system is able to keep track of, we have resolved your issue. You have been taken care of and gotten what you needed. whatever that is, as opposed to the old days when I would give you a card and say, here, go talk to the health department. They're down the street. And I don't know if you ever went, and maybe you walk out of the building and you're like, I don't have time to do that. I'm not going to go do that. But now you will be contacted by an individual or an agency in regards to that. And if you don't qualify for those services, then, you know, the system is designed to help try to guide you back then to somebody else that may be able to. So, but it closes that loop, so to speak, as we've talked about, to allow for us knowing where and when and how somebody has been taken care of. And then once you're in the system, you're in the system, so that in the future, you know, obviously we have situations come back up again, and your information would be there. And as long as it's still correct, you know, it's easier to transfer and refer you again in the future because of that. So I know that, you know, if that's not necessarily helpful, we can have Kaylee possibly get some information, hand that out to all the county board members through an email, and then handing out some information of maybe some sort of like a little cheat sheet, you know, dialogue that might be helpful. And just obviously it's really simplistic in what it does and how it does it, and maybe not knowing about the system as much or being, you know, in the weeds, so to speak. But the more you talk about it and the more you see it, the more maybe you experience it, you know, the easier it'll be. It's like riding a bicycle. Scary at first, not after. Did that help?
That helps, John. Thank you very much. You know, it's a program that we just kind of need to keep out there and in the information, and I would enjoy something very simple that would help me explain it to others.
So I do know, you know, one of the things, so I provided you it's kind of a newsletter that Kaylee designed, and I think it was more geared towards, originally more geared towards the agencies that are involved with it right now, to kind of give them a heads up, but it's definitely something that we can share with the community. So next month, April, will be the first quarter of when we launched on February 5th. And so, you know, at that point, we'll be meeting with the Kansas team. We'll be looking at all the data that we have so far. We can make we plan to make a presentation, you know, to the Board of Health when that meeting comes up, and definitely here and the full board, if we want to do that. Yes, okay, thank you. You just be more than happy. So Kaylee came here before, kind of gave you the presentation when we were launching. So now we're going to have quarterly data to be able to give you for who we have right now. And obviously, it's as I've been saying, the snowball is rolling down the hill. We want it to get much bigger, and this term's turn into an avalanche. So that will happen as this gains traction within the community. And so she's currently, you know, facilitating the information that we're getting for the agencies on board now. And she's also then communicating with agencies that are onboarding and not completed yet. And then she's collecting the information. And obviously we have many agencies, and through the collaborations that we have, and all those agencies through 211 or on the the Partnership for the Healthy Community, those are the agencies we want to start reaching out to. You know, we just can't get to everybody in one day. So it's going to take a little bit of time. But we started the launch with 19. I think we're up to approximately 25 now. So it's going.
Thank you, John.
Sure.
And where was Will County at? About that same number.
Will County started with approximately 19, and what I don't know where they were at early on in their stages, but 4 years into this, they're at 115 agencies.
I would say we're going to be into that.
I
after
agree.
A full year. I really do. Once we get our continuum of people who have agreed to sign up, and we train the trainer, if you will, within each facility on how to onboard new employees, on how to interact with people to get them into the system, it's only going to gain traction. The whole, what is it, Can I Help?
Mm-hmm.
That list of
Exactly.
agencies, that's our target list. If you go to that website, and that's a static website, this is living and breathing within each of these organizations, with either the knowledge behind the counter or potentially a computer interface on the front of the counter.
Right.
If they want to engage on that level. It's kind of a big deal. So Mr. Carrico first, and then Mr. Hunter.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. The other thing I'd like to add to what John said was that, for once, you know, every month John comes over here and he will give a report, and sometimes it doesn't include anything related to IRIS. But I want for everybody to know that if you're interested in knowing more about IRIS on a monthly basis, John generally provides that information every month during the Board of Health meetings. So anybody want to get more information on a monthly basis, welcome to come and attend, or go to the health department during the Board of Health meetings, which right now is on the second Thursday after the first Monday of the month. Is that correct,
Yes.
John? It's a little complicated. After the July, it's going to be strictly on the third Thursday of the month and starts at 5 o'clock. So he provides a very nice update every month to the Board of Health. So anybody wants more information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I neglected to say that last month because we just had voted at the board to move, starting in July, the meetings to the third Thursday of the month. I had it written down, but I neglected, so thank you for reminding it. So it is going to be a lot easier after July to roll that off the tongue, that when does the health board meet? It's the third Thursday of the month.
At 5 o'clock. All right,
At 5
thank you.
o'clock.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good progress, John.
Thank you.
I appreciated the presentation that Kaylee made, and I was looking at your partners there, and I would hope that Kaylee would reach out to some of the would-be charter members, NAACP, who receive ARPA funds. Garden of Prayer was probably one of the first initial social service agencies who received funds. It's my understanding that the Hispanic Partnership receives city ARPA funds as well, I think, or CDBG funds. If we could make sure that these organizations are signed up as partners, I'd appreciate that.
They will be, and they have been part of some of the early discussions, and with some of the sizes, and some agencies were like very interested, but hinted that not right now. So we have been trying to focus on a lot of the the bigger agencies, but those are definitely agencies, and especially through some of the initial ARPA funding that came through the county, that I think there was an agreement that would be one of their deliverables, that they would need to be part of the IRIS system. So they are definitely on our radar and will be approached, and this list will grow and grow, and theoretically change tomorrow and next week, and so we can continue to fund that, and yes, definitely we can make, once this first quarter is over, we're kind of saving the data for the first quarter, because on day one, for example, if we've had one referral, I'm just going to tell you we have one referral, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but after 3 months, we can say there's been this many referrals, and this many were handled, and we had this many rejections, and why did we have rejections, and what agencies are referring and who's picking them up. And again, that's only going to be who we have at that time, and the list will grow and grow and grow, and so exponentially, these numbers will get bigger.
And there's another one too. Rosemary, what's the name of the group that we gave ARPA funds to? It's one of your pet projects. More Excellent Way. They should probably be incorporated too. So Kaylee should reach out to them. I know that's one of Rosemary's pet projects.
I think also some of these smaller agencies, they work under the umbrella of United Way. So I do think that some of the smaller ones, they have been in sessions, and maybe they are still getting everything they need to have in place before they are actually on
United
the
Way has
list.
been part of our discussions also.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right.
Nothing about measles? Okay. No cases yet, so we are monitoring that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not too late. I can make you stop at the mic back there. You can tackle him on the way. Neek, just push the chair out so he can't. Yeah. All right. He's going to catch you after the meeting. Catch me outside. Sorry. I couldn't sleep last night. We have quarterly report from schools. Mr. Petkunas could not be here, so is there a motion to put that on file? Mr. Parker, second. I thought I saw Mr. Hess's hand go up back there. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Frank says reach out to him if needed about anything. So, well, relating to schools. Anything else, you're on your own. VAC, we have Karen Smatansky. Motion to accept the monthly report, put it on file. Mr. Carrico, second. Mr. Long. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You got the floor, Karen.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I really don't have a lot. I just really wanted to come today to make sure that you guys saw that we have a graduation for Veterans Treatment Court on April 4th. If anybody wants to come, we always like to have people from our community and certainly the county board here. We're working on hiring 2 new people. We've lost 2 over the last month, and things are going well. We are having a Veterans Women's event April 27th at KCC. All are invited. Mr. Carrico is going to bring some students out, and we thank him a lot for that. So it's more of a pamper the veteran women, and we also have Stephanie Kipowitz, who is one of our state reps from Lake County, I believe, or Kendall County, whichever one she is. She's coming down to give the speech. She is a Marine, and she'll be there that day. But other than that, unless anybody has any questions.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Karen, question, you said you had 2 vacancies. What are essentially the job titles and requirements?
The administrative assistant and assistant VSO are the 2. Both of them basically start as our admin person. The requirements do require that they are either a military veteran or an offspring of a military veteran or a spouse. But basically answering phones, making appointments, helping the VSOs with things that they need, research, things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Yep, have a good day, everybody.
Under County Administrator, monthly update, Anita Speckman.
Good morning.
Morning.
So last month we had very few openings. We had 5 positions. This year we went to 10, or this month we went to 10. So doubled the number of open positions. We added a law clerk for State's Attorney's Office. The county clerk has an opening. There's a deputy coroner part-time position open. And then the highway department posted their summer maintenance position. Those are part-time temporary positions for the summer. There are 3 of those. Or I think we had 3, or how many do we have last year? I can't remember. Usually around 3 to 5 typically. So those posted actually just yesterday. So not surprising, with only 5 openings last month, we canceled our new employee orientation for lack of attendees in March. So as previously mentioned, the next job fair scheduled is Jackie Haas's job fair on June the 5th. The big or rather complicated issue going on this month is IMRF launched a new website March 1st. It has not been a smooth transition. On-hold times for the employer line are now down to 1.5 hours, typically. Down to. And yesterday, Joanne mentioned the woman she was on the phone with said, we're trying. There's 5 of us handling calls from 30,000 employers. So not smooth. The activities are much more complicated, and just as an example, for errors within the feed file, a lot of changes had to occur within the feed file from Paylocity that feeds employees and their wages, and along with their coordinating IMRF plan that they're enrolled in. So if there's a mistake or an error in that file as it feeds, Joanne has to actually type it into Notepad and submit it, which, yeah, that's, everybody's just, Notepad is an extremely old technology. It's like 15 years ago. And it's why it has to go, why it can't be an Excel upload. It's just the way their new website works. There are 4 credits outstanding for the county right now that in paying the monthly pension amount, Joanne would write down the amounts on a claim form and send it downstairs to the Treasury Department. They would do an ACH. That now has to be done through the website. So Nick's team has to have access to the IMRF website to pay, to pull up an invoice and then remit the direct amount of that invoice. Changes occur sometimes, credits, which is not unusual. It happens on an ongoing basis if an employee's position changes or something changes. There are 4 credits that were pulled over from the old system to the new system that can't be pulled up. So they're sitting out there, and I actually get an alert every couple days saying, you have 4 credits, use your 4 credits. We can't even pull them up. So yesterday, the person Joanne was on the phone with said, well, yeah, we don't know why, we don't know how to fix it, but send a message in Secure Message, which is our messaging system with IMRF, and send a message in Secure Message and we'll address it. Well, Joanne has had a message in on a different issue since March the 7th that hasn't been responded to. So just really, she just paused and looked at me as I turned to walk away, and she said, terrible, terrible, terrible. Which, if you know Joanne, that's a lot of communication regarding a problem. Just, she doesn't complain, she doesn't, you know, but this is not a smooth transition, and it is a challenge. We hear from retirees who try to call. Oh, one is shaking their head now. You're on the phone forever. They cannot get through. In the beginning, their phone lines were so jammed up, you couldn't even get a busy signal. It's just dead. So what we recommend is that retirees set their alarm and get up early and call first thing in the morning. And that seems to be working. They too, the one I talked to last week, she called me back. I said, call me back. Let me know if you have success. Yep, hour and a half on hold. And then she said, I had to set my alarm, Anita. Okay. And an hour and a half later, she was able to get somebody on the phone. It's just a challenge. It's unacceptable service. Very bad. But we're dealing with it the best we can. That's all I have. That's how I'm spending my days.
Any questions for Anita? Do you know if their new website has anything like DocuSign or anything like that? Their forms? In case someone needs to attest that they're working 1,000 hours a year?
I've been in the new website. No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Mr. Hess, yes.
Thank you, Chairman. Anita, with our password and everything, is that going to work going into their system?
Well, you need to set up a new password and username. Your old one does not work. When you pull up the website, it says enter your username and password, and then down here it says self-register. You have to go into that self-register link and set up a new username and a new password. Yes.
Okay.
And then several security questions.
Okay.
It's really, and even on the employee side where I've been in there, it's employee and employer side. It's just not as easy to find what you're looking for. Have you been in?
None of them.
Oh.
Tried calling twice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Yep.
It seems to me Notepad's unformatted text. And it
Yeah.
seems like Excel would have formatted text. It could have-
Exactly. It's
so-
unbelievable.
So they don't want to have to go back through to unformat anything in Excel in case it's wraparound. I think I figured that one out. They don't want to cause more work. Just they want us to have the extra work.
Well,
Appreciate it. All right. Anybody else? Thanks. Have a good
Thanks.
day. It's got to be it. If it has unformatted text, they've got to just paste it in there. Administrative reappointments. Can I get a motion to combine and approve reappointment of Peter Vial to the Farmland Assessment Review, reappointment of Bob Dennis to the Farmland Assessment Review, and appointment of Rich Bilak to the Zoning Board of Appeals? Motion to combine and approve. Mr. Eckhoff, Mr. Hess, for the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. No takebacks. All right. Some openings. One opening on all the following. I'll definitely pay for that. McGilvery Special Drainage District, BM Lewis Drainage District, Moments Pembroke Union Drainage District 1, Union Drainage District number 2, Animal Welfare Advisory Committee, someone from the shelter community, Historic Preservation Commission. Could that be at large too, Tinker?
I think it could be at large.
At large or shelter, it's
Yeah.
usually one or six, one half dozen
We're
another.
having
Yeah.
trouble getting shelters.
Historic Preservation Commission, ICANN Joint Education Committee, that's a county board member position. Kankakee County Board of Review, Kankakee River Valley Forest Preserve District Board, University of Illinois Extension, and the Kankakee County Housing Authority, Grant Park Fire Protection District. Wow. Still on one opening, Greater Moments Fire Protection District, Kankakee Township Fire Protection District, Limestone Fire Protection District, Otto, and Pilot Township Fire Protection Districts, respectively, as well as St. Anne Fire Protection. Two openings on Cabery Fire Protection, Bourbonnais Fire Protection, Essex Fire Protection, Mantino Community Fire Protection District, Reddick Fire Protection District, Kankakee County Public Building Commission, and yeah, those are the county's appointees. Three openings on Blooms Grove Cemetery Association, and four openings on the Board of Health. 2 doctors, 1 dentist, 1 county board member. Obviously, with people, we do take reapplications. We just announce them all when they come up. So, establishment under new business. We have the establishment of the Kankakee County Waterways Advisory Committee structure, member terms, and appointment process. So, did that make it in the packet? Okay. So, as mentioned in one of the, I think it was Highways and Waterways meeting, that we were, yeah, I don't have it here in front of me. My packet must have been done before that was. Regardless, I think I can remember off the top of my head. I tried to mirror the language to what AWAC was, just as a starting point. Obviously, it has to, oh, thank you. It has to go to the state's attorney for language and all of that kind of stuff to insert into the county code. And so this is just a placeholder, much copy paste, if you will, from AWAC. No county board members would be as a voting member there. Obviously, board members can come to the meetings, contribute in conversations, but the whole point that I saw, and that has yet to be codified, that's future work to be done with like a mission statement from what are they going to be there, to do. And that's evolving, because where there may be something considered that is we didn't think about, and we ask them to entertain or to conduct or whatever. But as far as the makeup goes and the member terms, I thought that was something that people have been asking for the establishment of that, and so I got it in writing, and then the board could take that and figure out what they want to put around it after that. So I also would just recommend that you determine if there is a motion when to announce those openings in this committee meeting. Because I think there is something to be said with giving people runway to consider whatever it is you want them to consider, but also don't give too much to where people are waiting a year and wondering what the heck is going on. So those are just a couple of recommendations there from my part, just on a way to keep people engaged. So for the record, it would be one member selected by vote of the Kankakee, Aroma, and Moments boat clubs. So they would get together and, you know, maybe decide to take terms, or they all vote and put someone forward, or however they want to do their business. Those are the 3 boat clubs. Am I missing anybody? Is there another boat club? It can be amended, but those were the 3 big ones, and there may be just some associations, or, you know, like the Potawatomi Paddlers. You know, that was one that I thought of after I put this out there. Is that a boat club? Or could they be considered one of the at-large members? I think for now, maybe at-large, if they want, so choose to, one of their members step up. But things like that could be considered. And I don't see it as a place where it would be contested, if you will. So having an odd number is not extremely essential. You could have 10 people because you'd be asking them to do work, or they're asking to make a recommendation. So if you did want to add Potawatomi Paddlers or somebody like that separately, you could later. So so it's the boat clubs. They would choose a member. The Farm Bureau, obviously, because it is the Waterways committee, so you would need the Farm Bureau involved as well. Soil and Water District in the county, Kankakee County, member of the Northern Illinois Anglers, one member representing all drainage districts, much like the boat clubs. They could all get together and pick someone. You could stagger the terms here. You could determine, you know, these are 2 and 3 year terms to offset each other, so you're constantly overlapping. You know, you're never caught with everybody up for reappointment at the same time. Rural Fire Rescue, I think that was a big one because they're the ones who fish people out of the river, mainly Otto and Aroma and Limestone, I believe, maybe Bourbonnais as well on the other side of the river. Yeah. Let's see here, and 3 members at large and serve without compensation. The chair of the Waterways Committee would kind of be there as a guiding hand on process, but as a non-voting member. So the whole point of it, to me, seemed like would be public input. So I guess the first thing is, if we can open up the discussion, that was my first, put it on paper as it was suggested to do, and then go from there. So questions, thoughts, additions, deletions, whatever, term lengths, process, all that stuff. Mr. Featherling.
Date. We talked about October at once, but I don't remember what you're talking about now.
I'm not talking about anything.
No, I mean when to start this group.
You guys figure that out. Right. You tell me what you want to do. Okay. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So how many members right now do we have on the piece of paper, possibly?
9.
9? Okay. All right, thank you. Yeah.
And there could be subcommittees, by the way. They could say, okay, we want to pull together a subcommittee to take a look at logjam management. And so 2 of these people and maybe 4 of the people who aren't on there could put together something with a microbiologist and whatever. I don't know. It shouldn't be limiting. It should be kind of like blue sky. So, Mr. Seroy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to personally thank you for spearheading this Waterways Committee and all the work that you have done in the past to preserve our river going into the future. So that's just a thank you from me, sir.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's one of the reasons I ran for the board. Any other thoughts, questions, additions? Ms. Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just, you know, being in this area, I live in this area, that I think this is going to be very valuable for communication for all the agencies, because there's a lot of miscommunication from one area to the other. I think this will keep it all in one area, and they can spread it out the right way. So I think this is going to be great for especially Aroma Park and the Moments boat clubs down in that area where there seems to be a lot of the issues with the sand and not knowing what's going on. So this is going to be a valuable committee.
Yep, I agree. And kind of fun, because you'll be able to talk about things and kind of throw it out there and, you know, put it on a list, and it could be number 98, and then next year it moves up to 40, and then it moves down to 60, and then you find a bunch of money, and then it's up at number 2. You know, I mean, seriously, that's the way these things work, and I think that if we rely on people that are that passionate and that knowledgeable, it can't be a good thing. Ultimately, the board still votes to spend the money and find the money, you know. So, but there's a lot of different approaches out there that are all appreciated. Anybody else? Mr. Carrico.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. For the motion here is to establish the Kankakee County Waterways Advisory Committee. Are you looking for it to be moved to the full board for next month?
Yeah, it would be to make the motion on kind of like the makeup here. If you have any other thoughts on, you know, staggering terms between half the board would be, well, 5 would be, the first would be a 2-year appointment. The other ones would be a 3-year appointment. The other 4. You see what I mean? That would, if you want to stagger the terms, I could get that all ready for the full board if that's what you so choose to do. And if you say, along with that, I would like to make the motion that, or include in the motion that we solicit applications in month X. October, November, tomorrow, whatever. You know, it's whatever you want it to be. You know,
well, I think that if it's gonna go for the full board next month, I would probably say the sooner the better to make the announcement for the openings. And
that'll have to come next month here.
Well, we'll have to come to next month for approval, and then that, yeah.
Well, it would go from, if you wanted it to, it would go to full board here.
Right.
To establish the subcommittee, and then you could solicit the applications at executive if that's what you're saying.
That's correct.
That you know.
So there's the application on the executive on the next month.
Right, and there's no time period. We could take those for 2 or 3 months if we wanted to.
Correct. And then we can just discuss a little bit more established stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make that motion then.
Just to name the spots. Do you want me to tie terms to that?
I think that would be a good idea in order for us to always have the attendance that we need in order to have the business done. Conduct the business.
Would you like to say 2 and 3?
2 and 3, I think, will be appropriate.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Is there a second to that, Ms. Parker? Would a second to that?
For staggering.
For
the
staggering terms and the makeup?
Absolutely. It has to be staggered.
Okay. So we're good there.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Polk, you were agreeing, or did you have something else to add? I'm sorry.
No, I just said second.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. We're good there. All right. Anything else? Sorry. I just want to make sure, because yeah, it's now we can hurry up and wait for 2 years. No, I'm just kidding. But that, it just seems to be the way it works. We don't need a permit for this, so we can. We're not going to be waiting for this, so if we don't have to. I just have that, you know how it is. I mean, if you meet once and then you don't meet again for a year, it's almost like, what are we doing here? You know, and a lot of it's depending on when we can assume the equipment's going to be here, which would allow us to plan to do some work, but there may be other things that we could plan to do in the meantime. So again, open-ended at this point. So I'll start it with this way. We're not spending money, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, we'll get something together for the full board. Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Chairman. Being an old fireman, this is bugging me. How come we have 2 openings on the fire districts? This was set up so there would be 1 appointment every year. I think if we have 2 openings this time, I think we need to stagger that. One gets a 1 year and the other one gets a 3 year, so everything gets back in to sync.
It's part of it, and Kelly might have a more direct answer without naming names, if you will, but sometimes we don't hear back. And so when you see 2 on there, most of those, if not all, are because somebody didn't respond last year. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously Mantino, we had somebody passed, and then Bourbonnais has a larger number, but the other 2s are for sure.
Okay.
So point taken, though. Yeah, if we like we did with I think it was Merit Commission, we had to reestablish those terms at one point. Yeah, because they got kind of off a little bit. So, yeah, if we find that that's the case, we will definitely do that, sir. Thank you. All right. So with that, yes, Mr. Long.
So recently I sat in for you at the fire trustees meeting last Wednesday, and that was one of the things I brought to their attention, that needs to be a timely reapplication so we can move through the process. And they all agreed to that, and it's actually in their minutes that they just sent me, that to all of the fire department trustees, that they need to get those applications back in. So they're aware that there's an issue. I can reiterate that to them if you would like me to.
I would say that you've got about 3 or 4 issues, maybe. It would be the ones. It seems like County West, and I'm not just throwing them under the bus, but they're functioning, and the way it's written is the appointment's good until the term expires and a successor is appointed, so they can legally still keep doing business. But Kelly sends letters to each and every one of them.
You know, Kelly, if you'd like to share a list with me, I'll track them down if you need me to.
Oh.
Wow.
Who's scrappy now? Yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah. You can take the sheriff out of the sheriff's department, but you can't take the sheriff out of the guy, right?
If that's what it takes.
If that's what it takes, exactly. All right. Moving on. So let that be a warning to you guys. You better reapply. So we've got that taken care of. The review of the decennial committee reports, I believe those are in the packets. So we need a full verbal report. Mr. Eckhoff, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, it's one of those state laws where all these districts have to submit them to us, and those are the ones who have submitted those to us. Fossil Ridge Public Library. Anyway,
it's actually Will County, I think.
Yeah, there might be the district may dip into Kankakee County, but there's nothing requiring them to do so from the state side of things. So, no penalty for not doing so. So I'm sure there's not many people who are devoting time to this. Yes, sir.
You really?
Yeah.
So I've been working with the entities in Limestone Township and some others for these decennial reports, and a lot of them are coming to an end. They've got their plan together and the answer to the questions together. They're all asking what we're going to do with them. At this point, I know that they go to Kelly for her collection, and that they're coming to executive for us to look at. I'm not sure what else we're supposed to do with those besides file them somewhere with the county clerk. And I have advised them that these things would be FOIA-able because it becomes an official document. So any other things that we should know about that?
You pretty much said it. I mean, it's FOIA-able on their end of things before it even gets here.
Correct.
So as soon as they take the word draft off,
right.
So and I don't know that it's basically, if anybody wants to know, it's a taxing body, the smaller one, basically looking into their own mirror and saying how can we do things better and more efficiently, and and they're not legally bound to do anything about it, and we're not legally bound to go chase anybody down who didn't send it to us.
And
so
some of them are 3 pages, very simple, and that's the recommendation that I have, is to keep it simple. There's a couple out there that are going to look like War and Peace. I'm just telling you. So, if you intend on reading them, grab a cup of coffee first. You're gonna be there a while.
Best way to save money is don't print that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at it digitally. No offense to the newspaper industry. Sorry, salt in the wound. Is a cast off of that myself. Miss Foster.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with this report. Can you kind of explain it a little bit and why it goes to the treasurer?
It comes to us. Yeah, just to us. It's from the I think counties and municipalities are the only ones who don't have to do it. The other taxing bodies do per state law, but there's no hammer if they don't do it. It's basically, how can you save money and work more efficiently? Do a report like that and then send it to the county board in your county.
I think it was born out of the fact that Illinois has more governmental bodies than any other state, something like 4,700 governmental bodies. And at one time they were looking for ways to consolidate some of those government bodies to have less. But I think it almost feels like they dropped the ball there. But I have what I think is a pretty good example with me, if you'd like to see it. And it's pretty much the entities that did not receive ARPA money, or they received ARPA money through us. That's the libraries, the townships, the fire districts, the drainage districts, all kind of fall into the category required to create this document. So, but again, no hammer to make them do it.
And no format requirement. It doesn't have to have certain things. It's really open-ended, and
it's another unfunded mandate as well.
Yeah.
Some of these people are spending a boatload of time on it, and to what end?
Any other thoughts on that issue? I guess that was so we don't need to make a motion or anything. We just put them on file in the clerk's office there. Under old business, before an executive session, does anybody else have any old business? All right, I need a motion to go in executive session for pending litigation. Should be brief. Mr. Eckhoff, second. Mr. Featherling, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hess?
Aye.
Ms. Pope?
Aye.
Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Mr. Searing?
Aye.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Featherling?
Aye.
Mr. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Ecka?
Aye.
Mr. Hunter?
Aye.
Ms. Foster?
Aye.
Mr. Wheeler?
Aye.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Be just a second. I'll try to make right, we are back with a bad check. So we had old business, new business. Mr. Hess,
Make a motion that we adjourn.
second to that motion. Dr. Polk, all those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.